Hi class, welcome back again to CIS 121 Online Learning. And this is a video which is going to talk a little bit about how to define and use functions in AppLab. And you need to do this for both homework 7 and homework 8. So I'm concentrating on homework 7 right now. The main difference between what you're going to be doing on homework 7 and homework 8 is homework 7 we will not be using any parameters. So let's learn how to define and use some functions. Now, right now I'm in the general AppLab programming environment. And you might notice in my toolbox here, I see a whole bunch of different categories, which you really don't see when you're stepping through the exercises in code.org because they only show you the categories that you need to use. But you can see all of them here. And to work with functions, of course, you go over to the functions category. And the first thing you need to do with the function is to define that function. To do that, you use this block over here. And I'm going to define a function that draws a pentagon, so I'll cleverly call it pentagon. And then I'm going to go over to my turtle category. That's where I'll find all of my drawing tools. And I'm going to start out by changing the color. These are blocks that you use in some of the exercises in homework 7 and homework 8. You can also change the pen width, make it a little wider so it's easier to see. And now what I want to do is I want to draw my pentagon. And we can use the typical way of doing that, which is to move a little bit. Okay, and sides of my pentagon might be 50. And then I need to also turn. So in this case, I'm going to turn right. And I've got to turn the right distance. Now we learned before that that distance is 360 divided by the number of sides. I could compute that in my head, but guess what? We have a math category here. I can pull out a division and divide 360 by the number of sides, which in this case is 5 for a pentagon. And now what I need to do is I need to repeat that 5 times each time I draw a line and turn. So I'm going to select those two, and I'm going to copy and paste them. To copy, Control-C. I'm going to click outside. My cursor's right here at the bottom. To paste it, I would type Control-V. So there's the second side, third side, fourth side, fifth side. I type Control-V 4 times to add the other 4 sides. Now I can run my program, and as you see here, it doesn't do anything. That's because I've defined my function, but I haven't called it. Go back over to the functions category, and this block over here will call a function. You can see if you point at it, it tells you what the block does. I'll drag it out. I'll put it up at the top here. You can actually put it at the top or the bottom. And I'm going to call pentagon. And now I'm going to run this. And it's interesting to see as it's running, it's going to be showing you what steps it's in the program by putting a little yellow box around it. Now it's going to call pentagon, which will cause it to start executing this code. So I'm going to reset and run, and now it should be drawing my shape, and you can see the yellow box moving down to draw each side. So that's how you define and call a function. Define gives the steps you need to do, and calling it actually runs the function. Now, one thing you're going to be doing in homework 7 is you're going to be defining functions like this, but the very last problem, you define it in smaller pieces. Let's see how that works over here. You notice I repeat a certain process 5 times here. Maybe I should write a function that is going to do that process of moving and turning. So I'm going to, again, pull out my function definition. And I'm going to take that move and turn. Oops, that's not my move and turn. That's a turn and move. My move and turn, and just drag it up there. Now that's going to execute that move and turn. I no longer need to do that in my function here, so I'm just going to get rid of all of these. But I do need to call this function. Now what might I call this? Well, I'll cleverly again call it move and turn. Okay. So what I need to do now inside my pentagon code is to call that function 5 times. Again, I'll pull out a function call and move and turn. And it is case sensitive, so I need to capitalize as I did above. And again, I want to copy and paste that. So I'm just going to select that box, Control C to copy, deselected, Control V, there's my second, third, fourth, and fifth. Now I'm going to reset and run again, and it should do the same thing it did before. Notice the yellow box dancing around there, but now it's going in between my pentagon and my move and turn function. Each call, it executes the two statements in move and turn. So I broke that code up into smaller pieces. And that's something, like I say, you're going to be doing for homework 7. Now, one thing we didn't do here is use parameters for our functions. These functions will always do the same thing. Adding parameters helps us to do different things, like maybe drawing pentagons with different size sides or with different pen widths, passing them as parameters. And we did that when we were working with Scratch, and we're going to learn how to do that in App Lab for Homework 8. Have a great day and send me an email if you have questions about anything. Bye-bye.